Hello, another day.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about things we've learned from diversity training.
I think that is very important for us to reflect and share some of the learns.
Yes.
Because often a lot of companies will have done diversity training. A lot of companies are doing diversity training.
Yeah.
But what does that mean?
Exactly.
And what are the lessons that we've learned out of that? Yeah.
Exactly. So one of the things we have learned is that you cannot achieve diversity without being honest and without being ready for diversity.
Oh, that is a big one. I think for us to address diversity, we have to be honest, but also we have to be ready for it. Sometimes the challenge that organizations find themselves in is they get into it, and when they're not ready, that's when the issues are there.
That's right.
But also, when you get into it without being honest, that is also going to pose problems.
Yeah.
So for it to be done well, you have to be honest about it, and you have to be ready about it.
And one of the things that people are scared about, particularly companies, is that perhaps if you're honest, you're going to be judged, your staff are it's going to raise a can of worms. But actually it's a good thing, because most people who experience perhaps perception-related issues or racism, they just want it resolved.
That's right,
so
yeah.
Being honest about it, and these organizations we've seen that have made a bit of progress have only managed that because they've been honest about where the faults are, where the gaps are, and are ready. So talking about readiness, it requires a financial and time commitment.
Yes, but also just to go back to the honest and readiness, one of the challenges is if you're not honest and if you're not ready, that's when we get into the trap of ticking boxes.
Yes.
Doing it just for the sake of ticking boxes.
And then you don't invest the amount of time required.
Yes.
And you also struggle to invest the financial commitment.
That's correct.
That's where you start saying, oh, we only have £200 for,
for the training.
A 1 hour session.
Exactly.
And it doesn't bear any results.
It doesn't, and again it leaves us in a situation where when these issues are brought up, people are still struggling to address those issues.
Yes.
When these issues are brought up, people don't know how to address them.
Yes.
So that's the other thing, as you've highlighted, is investing in time. Invest financially. For this training to take place, people have got to be committed to invest in the time.
Yeah.
But also there are financial implications as well.
Yes.
So you don't expect to do diversity training for nothing.
And perhaps it's good for people to realize that diversity leads to it leads to success. It leads to, well, success can be defined anyway, but we do know that it leads to innovation. We know that it leads to good services and products, because the more diverse you are, the more better you are able to think in many different ways, and therefore it leads to the organization being more efficient and able to reach diverse backgrounds. Really.
Yeah. So in the long run, you're able to bring back that money.
Yes.
You're able to bring it back in, because if your team is diverse, if your products encourage people from different backgrounds to come in and buy those products, then it means you're increasing your sales. So in the long run, the money that you've invested,
it's worth it.
It's worth it. You're going to get it back.
Yeah. So really what we're saying is, it is a long-term process.
Exactly.
It's not a quick fix.
No, it's not. And I think that is one of the issues sometimes that companies and organizations get in. They think that by attending one diversity training, that's it, they've nailed it. But this is a long-term process.
Yeah.
It takes time for people to change their mindsets. It takes time for people to understand those differences, those cultural differences. It takes time to understand and to deal with some of the issues that might come out of having a diverse team.
Yeah.
So it's not a one quick fix kind of thing. It's a long-term thing. And I think it's important for organizations to understand that, especially for organizations that want to have a diverse workforce.
Yeah, because the process needs to allow for a system change, often systems which have been in place for years, and it needs to allow for cultural change.
That's correct.
So for this to happen, you need that time to make this happen, you know. And talking about culture change, why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because it's very interesting how companies come and they say we're in the process of changing and changing our culture and all that, and normally when we talk about diversity, it's like you're talking about something totally different.
Wait, they do culture change and all they change is the language.
Yeah.
You hear, we are inclusive, we are, a diverse organization, we're interested in diversity.
Equal opportunities.
But the culture has not changed.
Yeah.
When people get in there, they face the same issues.
Yeah.
When the systems are the same, and so they're still recruiting, doing the same thing, expecting different results. Which somebody defined as madness, really. So there needs to be a system change and a culture change, and all that is going to require time. Because when people are used to their own coming into the organization, and suddenly you have this black person or this different people coming in,
it's going to shake up everything.
Yes, and you should realize that that's okay, but it can be discussed, because sometimes people walk in and then they get asked questions as
where do you come from?
Where do you come from?
Why are you here?
Where do you come from? How did you get the job?
Yes.
Can you imagine somebody asking you how did they get the job?
That's right, yeah.
But that cultural change allows for time to communicate, to engage people, because again, the other thing is it needs multiple solutions.
Yeah. But before we go on to the multiple solutions, the cultural change and the system change ties in with the first point that we highlighted in terms of the company or the organization has got to be ready for that change.
Yes.
Normally, if the company is not ready and it doesn't have the investment in time and financially and all those things, I can guarantee you when it comes to the cultural change and the system, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Because you have some people saying, we have a budget, and then you have other people saying, oh, hang on a minute, we don't have that much of a budget.
That's correct.
And then you're trying to get the rest of the team to buy in, and the senior team are not buying in,
That's
or
correct.
vice versa.
Yeah.
Because the organization is not ready.
Yeah.
But when we say it's not ready, I think one of the things we're thinking about where we've learned is that the organization is only ready if they see it as something that will be positive for their organization, and they've identified that is problematic not having diversity, right? Because when we work with organizations, we discover that perhaps they are thinking this will make us look good, but then they start they start a process when they are not ready.
That's correct.
And it doesn't bear the results they are expecting. So that brings us to the multiple solution issue. You really have to have multiple solutions. Training alone is not going to do it.
No.
Bringing one token person is not going to do it.
No.
Having a diversity
project
is not going to do it. Having a diverse group is not going to do it. And not a diverse group in terms of having a diversity group of people within the organization who, whenever they talk about diversity, we have a diversity group. So really you need multiple solutions
to address.
And you can only know what the solutions are going to be when you are ready to have that conversation, be honest, and then perhaps you can decide we'll do one thing at a time. Maybe every year we'll do one thing, or maybe not every year, but every month we'll do one thing leading up to the next. We'll do training. After training, we recruit staff members. After recruitment, we'll do ABCD, we'll look at the systems. So it needs an all-round approach.
And you highlight one thing there in terms of having quotas. where you can measure what you've done. I think sometimes if you can't measure what you have done, then how are you going to achieve some of these things? How are you going to be in a position where you realize, actually, this worked and it worked well?
Absolutely.
So we have to have quarters where an organization has got to look back and think, okay, in such and such, in a month's time, in 3 months' time, let us look, how much have we achieved? How many people have we put through? How have they progressed? How are they carrying on? In their workplaces and in the jobs that they're doing.
That's the thing. There really needs to be some kind of measurement. If you're not measuring, sometimes you're getting people in and out. In and out. You're doing training and the team changes and that's it. They're gone. So there has to be some kind of measurement. How are we achieving diversity? And diversity is wide. So you want to know what form of diversity are you lacking? Because I'm hoping we're not talking about diversity of thought again here. But what form of diversity are we lacking? And what do we want out of it?
That's correct.
And then measure year on year. How much have we achieved and how do we build on that? But the other thing that we've learned as well, when it comes to diversity, it requires you to work with people with lived experience.
That's correct.
For the best results. I'm not saying that you can't do work with people who don't have a lived experience, but it gives you very good results. Because you get people in that know what the issues really are and how to achieve that.
That's right.
So whether it's lived experience within your organization or out with your organization. Right?
And I think even when you bring in those people with lived experience, it's valuing what you get and what they bring to the table. I think sometimes when we're talking about lived experience, it's good, but I think again the information or what they bring to the table sometimes is not valued enough to be taken on board. So it's again another process where an organization or a company is just going through this process. And therefore, yes, we're going to bring in people with lived experience, but whatever they say, we can just leave it at the table.
And talking about value, sometimes it's hard to see the value in the people that you've already recruited because for years you've not seen the value. So sometimes it does require that you actually engage them in a process where you value them. And also the other thing that you can do is that we've learned that bringing in an outsider as the trainer or the person that works with the organization usually helps with a safe space. Because the people in the organization with lived experience might be afraid to speak up, but also the people in the organization that perhaps don't feel like they've done enough might feel uncomfortable having that discussion. So even in the initial stages, it's good to bring in an outsider to create that safe space and start off the conversation. But before we finish, something really, really important and close to our hearts, that one of the things we've learned is that it's not about fixing people. It's a system that is not even broken. It's a system that's been created and designed for a certain group of people.
That's correct,
And so if that system is not changed, really fixing people is not fair. Not only is it not fair, it's not productive.
That's correct. And which again takes us back to the first point where we have to be honest and we have to, the organization has got to be ready. For us to address some of these issues, especially issues around racism, we have to be very honest. We have to be ready. And we have to, that is going to require us to look at the systems and the processes.
Which means we have to admit that it's not the people that are a problem. Which is hard. Because we've spent years saying they don't have the skill, they don't have the experience.
They can't speak English, they don't have the experience, they don't have the qualification.
They're not good enough. So now we're changing and saying, to be honest, you have to say, actually, we have a problem. Yes, people might need training, but actually, that's not the problem. The problem is the system. So really, these are our lessons from doing diversity work and working with organizations. Again, please remember, if you have an organization and you want to address diversity and inclusion issues, contact Radiant and Brighter. But if you've watched our video and you'd like to get more videos, but even more importantly, if you would like for us to work with you and learn together on this journey, please subscribe to our channel.
And also share the videos,
yes,
and encourage others to share and get in touch as well.
Thank you.